Hi folks, by now just hearing my voice, you know who I am. So I just want to. This is my last video for a while. I'm just gonna kind of fall off the face of the earth for a little bit. I just want to continue my research a little bit more privately. Not for the reason I'm trying to hide stuff. I'm just tired of the bullshit and the promise and and all the bullshit going on and stuff like this. And so it's not that I'm tired of listening to the idiot on YouTube and stuff like this, and that doesn't really bothers me. But the bullshit, just the everyday bullshit. So what I want to do today, I'm going to give you a video. It won't be a short one because I'm going to explain what I found, and since over 3 years. I started in over 3 years where with the little pump, I call it the voting machine, and making different tests and figure out, try to find out what type of energy that little pump will do for this here, this small generator. And and everybody says, oh, it's easy, easy, easy. Yeah, of course, you plug the oscilloscope and they give you the perfect wave, and it's a sine wave. Well, what type of sine wave AC have? Just a regular sine wave. So, it's pretty much straightforward. It's a sine wave. And when you have a sine wave, what I discover is when you have a sine wave, you're stuck into that sine wave. I mean, you can change the shape of the sine wave, right? I mean, you can make Z with it, you can make all kinds of stuff, you can go up and down, but it's still a sine wave. You're stuck with the energy the sine wave gave you, which is not much, because the sine wave literally bound you. All this energy is bound by the sine wave. So, I find out, the biggest thing is when I, learning about that is I walk back from, the house plug back into the power station. Not the substation, the power station. The one who actually make the power for, supplying the grid. And it's not an easy walk because no one want to talk to you. No one want to talk to you. Don't want to have a clue. When you're asking a question, they don't know nothing. They try to refer you to this. They try to refer you. Oh, go into our website. We explain everything. Even how they build a transformer. Since I started watching the video and YouTube, the same YouTube video has changed. They cut part of the explanation and they replace it with bogus explanation, which is this, when you're looking at a YouTube, right, a video, it's Hollywood, literally Hollywood. Any government explanation is Hollywood. It's not true. It's a lie. I mean, and people don't believe what a lie is. Well, when has the government really come out and said, hey, I'm going to help you save the world? They don't do that. They don't have any intention of saving nobody except their own self, because they're self-using son of a bitch. It's just like the fucking Trudeau we have. It's just like, they're lying thief. They should be fucking put to death. That's the only solution for those people. But I find out people have no balls. The majority of people have so little balls, actually, they can't even have kids. And some have kids, I don't know who the hell, because it's not their fucking kids, they have no balls. It's got to be the neighbor's fucking kids. Okay, they have no fucking balls. So, I mean, and the reason I say that again, people have no balls, is people thought I was going to get shot and beat up and stuff like this, saying people are cowards. But I'm still fucking alive 3 years later. That's a pretty good proof. We're living in a coward society. Because if someone ever badmouthed me like this, I would have find the motherfucker and I would break his jaws. Or at least an attempt to do this. But guess what? It's not happening. Most people, when they recognize me in the street, they shake my hand. You know? So I mean, like, you know, I never had anybody so far come to me and screaming at me and stuff like this. So it tells you how cowards the society became. You know, it's just, I mean, I'm trying to fix a problem, a lie, and people look at you like you're an idiot, right? But they're too fucking coward, and they're whining, you know, please, please, our power is so expensive, or the fuel is so expensive, we cannot afford to live. They whine to hear themselves whining, because, you know, they don't do nothing about it. I mean, I'm just one person. You know, I can reach out and touch, you know, maybe, you know, a couple of 100,000 people. What about those couple of 100,000 people or the rest of the population to get off their fucking ass? Get out of your fucking ass and do something instead of whining about it. Go out there, fuck, you know. I never see fucking 300,000-400,000 people walking in a march toward the fucking power plant and said, what the fuck are you charging us for? I gave everybody the clue how to check your house on the ground line. Why the fuck we have amp going on the fucking ground line? You know? No one want to fucking talk about it. Ooh, it's taboo. Right? Because they're fucking cowards. So that's why I'm kind of getting away a little bit from YouTube. First thing, YouTube is a fucking piece of shit. And it's no two way about it. Google, same fucking thing. They're just fucking, you know, relentless fucking idiots. You know, they're fucking snowflakes. They never have done a true day's work. When I mean a day's work, what's the work for man? Work for man sitting in a fucking seat on a desk, that's not work. That's passing time. You do that home when you pass time. When I mean work is pick up a fucking pick and a shovel and dig a fucking ditch for a mile or two, 3 foot deep, 4 foot wide, 2 feet in the bottom. And then when you finish that 1.5 mile of ditches, then you can come back to me and see and tell me how's work is sitting in your fucking desk is compared to digging a ditch in the sun, right? So I mean, like, you know, most people now, you know, I would say a good 60% of the people of North America don't even have a fucking clue what work is. Right? They don't have a fucking clue what work is. They don't know what it is to go out there and spend fucking the whole summer in a burning sun and doing hay, you know, so you can feed the cows, so you can have milk and you can have calf, you can have this, you can have butter, you know. They don't have a fucking clue. Most of the fucking kids, you know, you can take kids in grade 3 and take it to a goddamn a grocery store and ask you to get potato, and they will come back with a bag of fucking chips. They don't even know what a potato look. They don't even know what a fucking carrot look. You know, and this is our new generation is going to run this world, like the generation today who's trying to catch on and run this world. You know, the snowflakes. You know. We created snowflakes. You know, it's as simple as that. But anyway, this is my thought on that. And I'm not going to change it. Because the world will never change till you destroy yourself. But anyway, going back to the power plant, after all this thing, people saying I was stupid and AC powers coming up on the line and stuff like this. And now I got many people works on power plant finally. Some people comes out or they phone me and said, you're right, it's not AC going into the power line, because if it was AC you would call it a power line. It's RF, not radio frequency, resonance frequency, not radio frequency. So, you know, we thought it was radio because it's very similar, different transmission. Radio frequency is transmitted. You can transmit by wire, but it's most likely transmitted by air. And RF frequency is transmit, you know, by wire. That's why we call the power line, or we call transmission line. We transmit this frequency. So I mean, like, you know, actually we transmit, it's not a frequency, we transmit this resonance and we remove, see, that's where you release the energy, right? You make a sine wave, you take a sine wave generator, right, and you crank up the volt on a sine wave generator, so the volt is really high, and as many heads you can put, that one's only got 4 heads on it, or 4 pickups you want to call it. But some power plant, they have 144 pickups and 122 pickups and on and on. Like, there's different, you know, different company makes different ways. And more pickups you have is called phase. And when you connect all your phase together, you end up with a very high frequency, sine wave frequency. Okay, so now you have to release. We have so much power, so much energy in this sine wave. We have to release it, because this energy is wild. It's kind of wild a little bit. Is like the wild guy in the bunch, like, you know, the hairy guy will do crazy thing, right? It doesn't travel inside a wire. It travels on the outside wire, and that's why a transmission line. You know, when you when the people inspect the line, they get dropped, you know, with an helicopter on the top of the line. When it's energized, they have millions of volts going through them. That's why they have to ground themselves so they don't have a shock. So the body stabilize, and then they can walk on an energized line, which is 2.5 to 3 million volts, sometimes 5 million volts. You know, it's just crazy. You can walk on it, sorry, not millions of volts, but 250 to 500,000 volts. You know, maybe they have some, you know, I mean, I'm only doing research really restricted, what we're able to know. But your body can take this, because it goes right through you, is in the form of resonance with a slash, right? Well, they call that a cycle. So the cycle is this thing, like, you know, here, which I'm going to give you a little view of it. I think you're going to be able to see it. Let me correct that a little bit. And well, let me get a bit. There we go. This here, as you see right now, right, you got 2 brushes, and each one is not connected. I'm just holding it like this, right? And as those brushes ride on this here, this means those 2 brushes will be connected together. As they go off the copper, they're no longer connected together, right? This is a slasher, or a cycle generator. It's got 2 purposes: putting a slash into your power, and then putting a stop of transmission. That means when the generator is turning, it keeps pushing power to one brush, right? But there's no connection with the other brush. So what's happening is it's pressurizing. It's just pressurizing before it gets to the next one. And that's what we call pressure. Electrical pressure is potential. And more pressure you have, more potential you have. You know, when you disconnect large sparking, large arcing, when they engage power line, and you can see this big white, when they disengage, when the 2 switch comes out, you get this big white horseshoe, and as the switch comes way away, you know, this thing goes up, and then it goes, like, you know, 20, 30 feet high, and snap, right? Well, this is what is called potential, because now you're stretching it, and as you're stretching it, you get bigger and bigger, because this power is literally alive, you know. So I mean, like, this is how the power plant is making power, right? They're making, you know, they created resonance with a slash in it. They're removing the sine wave. And the way they remove the sine wave, just let me put that since I explained that. When they're putting when they're removing the sine wave, then everybody's how you remove sine wave. Well, it's very simple. You have to put the energy coming through the generator through a spark gap. Actually 3 spark gaps. And that removed the sine wave totally. So you have no more sine wave coming up. So now you're pushing that, you have no more sine wave, you're pushing into the slasher, right? Or the cycler, they call it. And then it goes into transformer or power line, right? The volt got dropped to a certain level because on the power line here for it's 14,400 volts for 240. If you want 120, you just have to push 7,200 volt into the transformer. But your transformer, the pole transformer, is the one who make AC. See, what is coming out the top line is not AC. It's resonance with a slash in it. So now you dump that into high voltage resonance with a slash in it, and you dump that into a pole transformer, the high end pole transformer. The high end pole transformer goes into the transformer, but it's not a pole transformer is not exactly a transformer like you will see into let's say this type of transformer. Let you show. See, that's a step up transformer or step down transformer. It doesn't work like this. So that's the problem with people always make a mistake because they think they know about a transformer and they don't have a clue what a transformer really is, especially the pole transformer. The pole transformer, when the high voltage it hit the wire is just a transmitting antenna, which is wrapped around the X1, X2, and X3 with insulation in between, and that end of that wire from the high voltage does not connect to anything, okay? It's just wrapped around there and it's tape up, and then you put layers of insulation on top of it. So if the end of the wire is not connecting to anything, then cannot be a transformer. It's a transmitting antenna over 3 receiving antenna. And the sequence and the profile of the receiving antenna drops the volt down, turn the high potential to watts, and drop the volt to 120 volts per legs, per taps from your transformer X1 and X2, and then X3 is your neutral. It goes back to the factory. So because it's transformer, you have to understand the pressure of high voltage is so powerful. It will make this transformer explode. If you energize the transformer, it will not put a neutral ground to the can to the neutral line underneath the high voltage line. It will blow, and you can ask any landman and transformer installer and stuff like this what happened when they forgot to put the neutral to it and energize the transformer. The pressure builds up so bad it blows up. So I'm not inventing that, I'm not making it. It's just the way it is, right? So therefore, if the AC is made in your transformer, my question is, for all the farmer and the industry, they own their own transformer, what the fuck are you paying watts for? Because there's no watts coming out. There's no amp coming out of that line. It's called potential. It's not made watt yet. The transformer does that. Right? Your pole transformer makes AC currents, 120 volt and 240. Not the fucking line on the top there. So, there again, another fucking bullshit. People, think AC is coming up from the power plant. It's not. It's total bullshit. So what I want to find out is when the fucking people is going to wake up and said, I own my own transformer, I own the pole, so why are you paying for what? Why the fucking meter is at your house. The meter should be before the fucking pole, the transformer pole. Oh, yes, right. But they cannot do that because it's not power yet. It's not electricity yet. Right? It's transmission, not electricity. So, you know, this is the big fucking bullshit we've been playing all our life. And the people are too fucking coward to walk into the fucking power plant, you know, and said, or to the big fucking gazillion dollars worth of fucking building you pay for. You the asshole who pay for those nice building, right? Gold plating glasses so the sun, you know, it doesn't overheat the inside, right? So you're paying for that, but no one's got the fucking ball to go out there and start smashing those fucking buildings down to fucking say, hey, we have enough of you fucking thief. You fucking stealing money from us for no reason. Ask them why. What they're doing with the power going back, because you can't stop a transformer. Even if you don't use any power of a transformer, he's still doing his job. You still have to release his pressure, and he goes right back into the neutral line and goes back to the factory. You know what they're doing with that fucking power? What they're doing with the power going through your house and goes back to the factory. They don't pay you for that. They charge you because they sell you the same fucking power over and over in a nanosecond. Right? That's how fast the power can fucking move online. So I mean, like, what the fuck? You know? Are you all fucking brain dead out there? Oh, let me answer that. Yes. You're all fucking brain dead. Or pickles. You know? Because I don't see any fucking people going out there and fucking bitching about it. I don't see anybody bitching about the price of fuel. You know what? The price of fuel, we're selling our fucking fuel and on the Canadian oil, right? At $18 to $19 a fucking barrel. How come the fucking gas at the pump is fucking $1 something a fucking liter? But, oh yes, right, no one can bitch about it because they're fucking brain dead. Right? And they're coward. They have no ball. They're fucking total fucking cowardness. Matter of fact, if it was a medal for cowardness, every fucking North American people would have one. Maybe 2 or 3. Right? So, that's the way it goes. But anyway, see, since it's my last video for a while, I can fucking say whatever I want. Because people are coward. They ain't going to come and knock on my door. Many people know where I live. No one would come fucking walk on my door. Right? So anyway, but yeah, so, you know, the explanation is how if you want to make power, you have to know how it works and what is it first, right? It's like going hunting. Here, I gave you a gun, you know, and I want you to go hunting, and you go in the bush with bullets and gun and boots and hat and all that, and then you run into a field and there's all kinds of wildlife, bear, you know, sheep, you know, moose, deer, elks, you know, but you didn't tell them one game to bring in. So he sit there and, well, what I'm going to do now? I can't shoot them all. And he comes back empty-handed. He doesn't even bring a squirrel. Right? Because you didn't tell him what to bring in. Well, if you don't tell people what kind of power you're manufacturing, how the fuck they know how to use it properly? That's a good question. Right? And there's no fucking answer to it because no one want to know what it is. They just want to know when I turn my switch on, the light comes on. But every time they receive the bill, every 2 months, they're crying the blues. You know, that's the way it goes. Because you don't do nothing for it. I bought it, go against it, so pay the bills and cry the blues, right? But if people start to wake up and figure out, like, you know, they've been ripped off, then maybe something would change. Not in my lifetime, but maybe in the future. Because I don't believe nothing's going to change in my lifetime. You know, people are too fucking coward. They've been living 50 years of the worstest case of cowardness. So, I mean, everybody, they're just too busy trying to do their own little things. So, but anyway, back into this. You cannot manipulate. You have to remove the sine wave, and you can only remove the sine wave. You cannot do it electronically. You cannot do. It's got to be done by spark gaps, and you can do vacuum spark gaps. You can, and we're wondering, why can I buy communication spark gaps, right? And I showed those things before, right? That's for communication, right? There you go. Let's see if we can. There you go. Right? That's a spark gaps, and that's for communication system, because they know they can send nothing if it's have a sine wave into it. Doesn't matter if it's square sine wave. It just doesn't work. So by researching and digging and stuff like this, and listening to other people work on power plant, stuff like this, and the accident happened in power plant, and all around, it makes no sense the way they say the power works the way it's supposed to work. It makes no sense. Then you start testing their theory, and put their theory together, right? It doesn't work. So it just doesn't work. You're wasting your time. So if everything works with a spark gap, is because they need that goddamn spark gaps to remove the sine wave. So this is what I discovered. And then when I discovered, when you put a spark gap, you're getting this massive amount of energy release. Massive amount. When I run the voodoo machine, the whole room fill up with resonance. Oscilloscope go crazy by itself. Everything goes crazy. It's just wild. But if it's handling properly, you get a shitload of energy you can, create with that, because this is the base. The sine wave, start with sine wave, then you remove the sine wave from that energy, and that energy became pure potential. All you have to do is manipulate that potential properly, and a little generator like this one here, easily. Soon we got the controller. That's why I'm getting after YouTube, because I gotta work on this controller seriously, and I'm tired of listening to other people. So this little generator here should have enough potency to run a house, no problem, on potential. So it's too bad, or I gotta get out, but that's the way it is. I accumulate a massive amount of debt by doing research, and now I gotta go and see if I can live long enough and make enough money to pay my debt back. So that's why I'm getting after YouTube for a while, so I can go back and try to see if I can pay some of that debt back. Hopefully I'll live long enough. So it's and also it was a lot of promise, and there's always a lot of promise out there and stuff like this, and I just now I look at people tell me something, I listen to them, and I just, yeah, sure, I agree with them. What else are you gonna do? Just show me what you got. I'll show you what I got, so now you show me what you got, and we'll take it from there. So that's why I'm gonna try to go back to work and clean up my debt and do a little bit of research on the controller. It's no sense going any further right now. It means absolutely. Going any further right now means it's stupid, right? Because all I'm doing is moving the same mud over and over and over again. So I'm going to stop and see if I can find someone who is capable of building this controller properly. I got a lot of. I know all the recipe. I know what's have to be in and out. The voltage, the cycle, the cascade, the speed of the cascade, the volume of frequency have to go in, how we have to change and stuff like this, right? And it's very simple. Everybody's talking about motor and self-driver. Well, drum motor, they are capable of powering themselves, and because this one here, just with a little bit of power I'm putting it when a 40 volt Castle Guard RC controller, I'm 14 times more powerful than this motor. Okay. I don't know if you can get that. Okay, there we go. See, that's a 500 watt. That's like a starter motor, right, with solid magnet in it. And it's a 24 volts at 20 amp. I believe 20 amps. Let me check that up. 26 amps, right? But when I put a load on that thing, right, when you put a load, when I feed it with 10 amps, and I put a slight load on it, it shoots past 60 amp. And I can install it with my hand, right? So at 24 volt, 10 amp, it have no power whatsoever. I put only a half an amp through this motor, through this controller, right? And I'm over 14 times more powerful than that 500 watts. And we did it over and over and over. So, and I have the wrong control. I mean, I can only spin that at 1000 RPM right now with that, because it's only pushing up about 14 volt per legs. And I need about 60 to 70 volt per legs to make this thing really hum. So, I mean, like, you know, everybody's always stuck into these internal spinning motor, right? Well, those motor we call motor, they're actually not a motor. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull that one back. You guys saw that one, right? It's just a normal LG or a Samsung. I think that's one is a Samsung drum motor, direct drive for a washing machine, right? But I'm going to bring it a little closer so you can see, right? Now you see 1 through 3, right? So those are the 3 where you put the power into it. You call it a 3-phase, right? And then all 3 legs are connected together. So this motor have a dead end. Hang on, a motor with a dead end? A stator with a dead end? You gotta be shitting me, right? How the fuck you get a stator with a dead end? If you have a stator with a dead end, it's not a motor in it. Because a motor have no dead end. It's a continuously, the sequence of the stator is continuously. It doesn't have a dead end. Plus, 3-phase, right? And a 3-phase motor, you get 4 fucking wire. Not 3. That's 3 power wire. Where's your fucking neutral? Can't be a fucking 3-phase, innit? It's a fucking propulsion system. If you study a railgun, if you study the fucking propulsion train in Japan, because this motor was the design in Japan, those motor are propulsion system. All they did, they take the propulsion system and bend it and make a 360-degree circle with it. And then what they do, they slam a drum with magnet. Well, the drum will turn. That doesn't turn, but the drum will turn. And that's why they create a motor out of it. And this motor is so powerful compared to a regular motor. That motor is rated, I like this stuff because now they don't do that anymore. They took the stamp off. This motor is rated at, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but that is going to be a tough one. Yeah, that's going to be pretty hard to see. But I'll read it to you. Right? So the model is COM1E, oh no, sorry, 500P. That's the model. DC, 310 volts, horsepower, 0.92 HP. Okay, that's got less than a horsepower, right? But the motor and the controller is set for producing on a shaft 210 pound-foot torque from 0 RPM immediately that he's got 210 foot torque at 0 RPM, just turning nice and slow like this, right? And he will maintain his torque infinitely. So that means when he goes up to 1100 to 1300 RPM, when he spin for spinning for removing the water of your clothes, right? How the hell less than a horse motor can turn sometimes 200 pounds of wet clothes in a drum in a washing machine, strictly on the shaft? You have to remember, this motor replaced a transmission of the old type of washing machine, right? Even if you have a belt drive, right? A belt drive, it goes from a big pulley like this into a tiny little pulley like this, right? Very small pulley. And this is a transmission, but it's a belt drive transmission because we call that ratio, right? A small pulley, a big pulley ratio. So you can take a tiny little motor and turning a big thing, right? But this guy does it directly on the shaft. So I mean, like, you know, 210 foot-pound torque. And if you don't believe me, why you don't phone Metag or Samsung or LG or Fish and Packer? Oh yes, right. People don't like ask questions because they're afraid of the answer because they're cowards. Or they're afraid they're not going to get the answer. Or they're going to be afraid they're going to be, what I said, they're going to be, you know, they're going to have to do research, right? They're going to have to spend some time. They don't want to do that. They want their fucking slice of pizza and a bottle of beer and a TV, right? So, you know, but when people can tell me, someone can give me that much torque, because my car doesn't have much torque. I got a Mazda 6, right, with a 2.4 in it. Pepe Lou car, goes like stink, right? But I don't have 210 foot-pound on the crank. So for all the retarded out there, maybe get those gear working and add 1 and 1, 2 and 2 together. Something's wrong here. I mean, I've been doing mechanical stuff all my life, and that is mind-blowing. Now we have airplane fly with electric motor, right? Drum motor. And we have, now we have a speedboat, 55 miles an hour speedboat for a 22-foot long boat, you know, and the motor is tiny. But people don't talk about that. Oh, it's the most taboo, right? And some people, some company, they're rearranging the cycles, or they're rearranging the sequence into the motor because now they find out the motor, it runs on resonance, so they rearrange the resonance, the tuning on the resonance, and they can make their motor way more efficient, like Heinlein. Hi, Heinlein people. You know, your little controller, when you turn it on, it fill up the room with resonance, because they figure out how to tune up the resonance. So they have a motor is very efficient and very powerful for the size of it. So I mean, like, you know, all those little secret, those little dirty little secret from people. I mean, like, you know, after a while you find all that stuff, you know. Look, it's very simple, right? We were put it to sleep, literally. I was going to move that a little bit. Oops, moving the wrong way, sorry. There we go. So, we're going to be, you know, we just don't get it. I mean, I get it, but people don't get it, you know, and that's too bad. I mean, this research here is not just for power. The research is many different applications, you know. Like, again, you know, you're tired of gas. Well, don't put gas in your tank. I mean, the gas in your tank is not a fuel. It do not burn. It do not burn. Test it, try it, instead flopping your fucking mouth for nothing. I'm talking to all the expert out there, right? I don't care if you're a physicist, scientist, or a engineer, whatever. Try it. Take a sphere. remove everything inside a sphere, right? And then fill it back up, but with air, but except in the air you got to remove all the nitrogen out. And then try to ignite anything inside. Big lighter, matches, I don't care. Try to ignite it. It won't. Because you're removing the principal fuel, nitrogen. Nitrogen is a fuel, an explosive, because we've been using it for blowing this planet since we were born, right? I mean, when we're breathing, we don't really need it. We don't really use the nitrogen. We use the oxygen in the, and same thing. Oxygen is supposed to be really explosive, right? It does. Remove the nitrogen out of the room, fill up the room with pure oxygen, and walk in there with a fucking flaming lighter, and your lighter will die because it's got no nitrogen to feed on. You know, it's as simple as that. I mean, like, you know, you don't have to be I don't know, a scientist. Just look at the basing. You're breathing this shit every day and you don't know what you're breathing. You know? I mean, you know, when someone farts beside you and you're breathing it, you see, oh fuck, now I'm breathing shit. Well, yeah, pretty much. Right? It's the gas what the shit create. Comes out of someone's ass. But no one knows exactly how your body works with the air we breathe. We call it air because, you know what, they don't want to tell you what it is. That's what you call them. Call them a fucking name that goes nowhere when you look at that. Air. A-I-R. Wow. You know, 3-letter. No one really know what it is. So, I mean, hey, and I'm just telling you what I'm finding. You know, I'm just kind of the messenger here. And I'm telling you what the messenger is telling you literally what he sees around him. Right? And people like to shoot the messenger. Well, that's okay. There's going to be another one behind it. Right? So, we are realize the way we got to that point because of stupidity. You know, I'm looking at I went up and a friend of mine find some boxes of Popular Mechanic and Popular Science since 1942, and I love those things because when I was a kid, I was, you know, that was the only magazine I was praying to get every month, right? And so I'm looking through those old magazines, and you know what is funny? How fake YouTube is. They're taking old stuff from 1940s and spruce it off to today's, and then saying, oh, here's those things that, you know, we're going to have this technology. This technology got crushed 40 years ago. You know, it's not out there. But in YouTube it looked like shit, your neighbor is doing it, right? It's all a fucking lie. I mean, if you don't believe me, you know, go into the archive, go into the paper. That's what you find. Because you know what, when you print something on paper, it's really hard to go and change that, put white up on it and rewrite something else there without you knowing it, right? That's where the information is, in the archive. Oh yes, right, library. Do we still have library today? Oh no, library is through fucking Wikipedia. The biggest fucking lie in the world. 80% in the Wikipedia is totally false. The other fucking 20%, you might have a maybe there. And they all think, oh my God, they must have made a mistake. They actually tell the truth. Right? So I mean, people don't go to library. Library, pretty soon, you won't find one. I mean, they're really hard to find. Unless you go into a little place and they still write their letter by hand. Right? But I mean, like, you know, that's too bad because all the technology, all the knowledge is just disappearing. It's going to get fucking burned into the garbage, to the dump site. You know, so if you don't have the past to learn, then what the hell the future is going to be? Because, you know, with no past, how are you going to learn you made a mistake? The only thing I learn is when I make a mistake. Right? I mean, This is the cost of learning. You make a mistake, that's the cost of learning. That's what it costs you. There's no other way to see it. You know, because when you make a mistake, it costs you money, costs you time, costs you a finger, costs you an eye, costs you an arm, costs you your life. You know, you won't make that mistake again. Oh, yeah, that's right. The world of science today, the world of research is all on computer. You know, they make 3D video at something they don't know what it look like, but they create a look, so that's good enough. You know, it's just pure lied. You know, the same thing. Look, how many people are fighting for cancer, and they're taking all kinds of medication, but they don't stop feeding the body what causes cancer. White sugar. White sugar is poison. Matter of fact, sugar is a narcotic. And if you don't believe me, try to import sugar in Canada or the United States without having a narcotic license. I did that in Canada. I got hit in the side of the head with Roger Sugar. He's got a monopoly in sugar, you know, and North America here. So I mean, like, you know, and you need it. It's narcotic. Same, you know, sugar cane is narcotic because sugar is the hardest addiction to break. You can get off crack, cocaine, amphetamine, what else has got there? I mean, whatever drugs you can get out of that fairly easy, except sugar. Sugar is the biggest narcotic in the world. And you can buy it at the corner store by the bag. I mean, literally by the bag, okay? And people have a big smile when they bring a big bag of sugar at home because they're just like crackhead. They're just fucking, they're going to make something really sweet, nice apple pie and put another cup of sugar on the top of it, right? Tastes good. And then 3-4 years down the road, they weigh 300 pounds and they can't breathe and they have cancer and they have this and they can't fix nothing, you know? You know, it's stupidity. You know, it's just crazy. The world, it is crazy. So that's why, you know, I'm kind of tired of hitting my head against a brick wall because it's more likely a stone wall. So I decided I'm going to go quietly and I'm going to keep on doing my research. When I finish the controller and I have something, you know, totally run together and power up a house, then I'm going to come back and say, there it is, right? In the meantime, you can go and buy a KG system, a Tesla system, this system and that system and the other system, and they don't fucking work. I mean, how long we've been hearing about TEG, right? Fucking, I think 20 some years. In 20 some fucking years in research, they still can't power up a house. It's pretty bad, isn't it? You know, and there's many ways. Let's say if you're in a place, you don't need a primary mover. You have a primary mover, like water running down a hill is a fucking primary mover. Okay, just for all the stupid people out there. You can power up your house with a simple 24 to 30 inch spoon turbine with a 2-inch line of water coming down at 7 head of water. Now for all the folks that's stupid enough and they're retarded, they don't know what a head of water is, right? It's when you stand up. This is a head of water. 10 head of water is 10 times my height. Okay? Just for it, so you don't have to read a tape here, right? You can stand up and create a head of water. I'm about 5 feet, so I'm good, right? So why the people that are looking for solar system, wind system, when they have water access in their property? Beyond me. See, I live in the fucking bottom of a river. I don't have no water moving. I don't have no stuff around me. But I'm very contemplating of just finding myself a place where it's got some water running all year long. And yeah, you want to make sure when you buy a piece of property, you check it in the end of August or the end of September. Or the end of August is pretty good because it tells you how much water is coming down and when it's very dry. Because tapping into a creek, it runs run crazy in the winter and is dead in the summer, ain't going to help you, right? So, but it's many ways, right? How to be able to create a primary mover, because you have to have a primary mover. Like people say, oh, Tesla did this, Tesla did that, Tesla had an electric car, Tesla didn't have none of that shit, right? He was using fucking coal and steam turbine for primary mover. And then he went up and used water at Niagara Falls for primary mover. All you had to do is build simple fucking thing. Build sine wave generator. Right? And he power up the world. His car, and the difference, you know, he didn't use an electric motor. You use a piston drive motor. You know, because put it this way, if a Tesla would have had to put an electric motor in that arrow, you would find picture of that fucking car with an electric motor with the hood up all over the place. You can't find it. Right? And an alternative current motor in those days for 90 horse 90 horse motor, it would weigh about 23, maybe 2,700 pounds, and it would be twice the size, the width of the front of the car. So that was not applicable. But what he did, he knows, because he knows resonance, and he knows the air he was breathing. Hey, I can prime that resonance under vacuum, under negative pressure, and turn this gas into a burning gas. I'm priming it. And that's how he did it. That's how he did his car. No fuel. The fuel is the air. You know, and that's why I keep saying, I said, you got them gas we're putting in a tank, don't burn. And everybody laugh at me. Oh, really? What do you think is coming out of the fucking tailpipe? If it was burning, it would be nothing left there. It doesn't burn. It comes out, you know, it changes form from liquid to solid, but carbon based, right? So, you know, it's all in the research. You know, when you do research, that's all you do. You just talk, you know, with other people, do some tests, build some stuff, test it, work, but not so good, put it on the side, build another one, test better, throw the other one away, because now you make a step forward, you're going forward, right? I throw a lot of stuff away, probably $100,000 with the machining and in different places. I throw it away because we did the test. We had to build it to do the test, because those guys tell you something else. They tell you it's not going to work. They tell you it's going to work. It's just a confusion. So if you don't build it yourself and test it yourself, you'll never know, you know. And not be afraid of spinning stuff. You know, I don't see any solid state power plant yet, right? Because it cannot be done. It cannot be achieved. A solid state power plant cannot be achieved. That's why we have power plant that's spending hundreds of billions of dollars to spin stuff. Now, if you just think about it, for all the stupid out there, why did they spend hundreds of billions of dollars to spin a fucking wheel with an electromagnet in there? Because you have to do it. You got to create a sine wave so you can release the energy from it. That's why. You can't do that with solid states. Solid state doesn't have the potential. And if you could put the potential through solid states, tell you something. This is number 3, plus my other one I burned, and that one is gone. It's crazy. I test everything out, but the chip is gone in it. You know, the program is gonna, or you know, it's just bouncing all over the place. You know, it's not a diode. It's not. I test every single diode, micro diode. I test everything in it, except the chip. The chip I can't test it. I don't have the equipment to do so. But you know, that's the way the power is. You know, this is the type of power we're playing with, where the power I'm playing with, which the instrument are not built for that type of energy, because we need different type of equipment. Oscilloscope. The only way I can run the oscilloscope to that thing is I connect this little antenna to my probe, and I just move the probe close to the to the motor, so I can read what is coming out of the motor. Right? It says I can see my sine wave, or whatever you call it. So I mean, like, that's why, you know, it takes a lot of time we're talking about. I spend sometimes 16, 18 hours here a day. That's 7 days a week because I live here. When I get an idea, I go and come down and try it, right? And of course, more you try stuff, more shit you accumulate in your lab. And then you run into, you don't have more, you got to move someplace else or throw a whole lot of shit away, right? So I mean, like, you know, so this is what, you know, the whole idea is to be able, you know, if you want to make power, you got to make sine wave. You got to create a sine wave generator, and then you got to remove the sine wave out of it. And you know, the only way you can do it is through spark gap. There we go. That one, they're not cut. I just put them together, right? You got to be able to do 2 to 3 jump before you get a total release energy. And that's why when I did a video with the voter machine, I can take the power wire, single power wire, and go back to itself and spark on its own. I'm pushing more power through the end of the wire than I'm putting in the wire. So I mean, like, you know, this is kind of, I don't know, you know, voodoo, you know, hocus pocus or whatever they call it. It's not. It's the way that the resonance when it hits those rods. This is tungsten rod. That's a small one, right? It's 532s. You know, it's for TIG welding. But I know the power plant have the exact same thing, 3 spark gap, but there are those big barrels with a 3 big horn on it, where power goes through. And one guy phoned me. They saw it, they have a big, you know, that was a big power plant. When something went sideways and everything would start blowing up, and by the time the smoke cleared out, they had to go and do an estimate of the damage. And one guy saw this thing. He said, "We know what they call it," but he said, "I didn't know what it was inside. I didn't know the principle of the inside." Well, that thing blew up. It was like about 8 to 10 foot long, about 3 foot across, like a long piece of case of tubing, metal, and it opened up like a banana. It blew up. So the potential, I guess, the pressure went too high into it and blew it up. And guess what? It was in the middle. 6-inch solid tungsten rod, 3 pieces, 4 pieces. So they had 3 spark gap into it. So I'm just saying, where the hell the power plant use spark gap? Because they got to remove the fucking sine wave out of them, of the power they're making, so they can put the slash. You can't put a slash with a sine wave. It doesn't really work. So they have, by removing the sine wave, they release all that energy, and then when it goes through the slasher, or you know, or the cycler, right? Cycler, slasher. You know what cycle means, right? The word cycling. Cycle is a thing you use for cutting the brush, like, you know, the hay and stuff like this. And when you say cycling, is the motion, back and forth, or spinning around, right? That's what cycling is. So it put a cycle into the system. This means it's chopping it up. Well, this what I made here. It chops it up, but it also make another thing. It compress when it's not engaged to a contact. It's compressing because the generator doesn't stop spinning. You keep pushing the juice in, right? It's just like an air pump with no controller on it, except this is your controller. It releases it because you get a certain timing on it, certain RPM. This is a slasher with 2 contact, right? Equal width contact, or equal width of off. So if you turn that at 3600 RPM, you get, guess what? 60 cycle. Okay? So 60 cycle is what's coming out of your top line. And then it goes into your transformer, and it brings the voltage down, the potential turns to watt, you know, and your cycle turns to AC wave or a sine wave. Right? So when, you know, if you don't believe me, why AC is called AC wave is like this, and why when you get a sine wave, it's also like this. So it's an AC sine wave or just a sine wave, right? Hard to tell. They look exactly the same. So if I see two birds going across the road, one is a white duck, right? And the other one is a black duck. I'm just saying it's two fucking duck walking across the road. They're different color, but they're the same fucking animal, right? So I mean, like, you know, that's how they confuse the fuck out of other people, you know. And then everybody, you know, are afraid of electromagnetic radiation, right? I should be dead fucking years ago. Every time, and I used to have those, you know, I don't know where the hell I put it. Those goddamn things. Oh, there they are. Electromagnetic radiation. Man, those fucking things, when they work, they tell you you're going to die in 5 minutes. It's no two-way about it. You're going to fucking die, right? So, I just throw this fucking thing in the door and ignore it. Because there's no such thing as electromagnetic radiation. If you know what radiation is, active radiation is a particle. It's attach itself to a particle, and that particle emits X-ray, gamma ray, and other rays. Okay? It have to be a fucking particle. It have to be attached to a solid thing. That's the last thing I see about active radiation. So, again, active radiation Geiger counter, got one. And that was a good one. It was used, you know, from with those guys. That one came from Texas Department of Health. I don't know if you can read it. I showed that before, right? Someone sent me that. There you go. Texas Department of Health calibration. So, you know, it's not so fucking. It's no such thing as radiation when you come to an electric motor, right? It's just resonance, leakage of resonance. And some people are more sensitive to resonance than other people. I mean, look, people, oh, the power line, the smart meter, this and this, it affect me. Well, it's because you're sensitive to resonance. So if you can't live close to the power line, the best thing to do is don't fucking live on any of the power line, you fucker. Don't try to fucking change the whole world because you're sensitive to something. It's like the peanuts, right? Now the kid can't have a fucking jelly and peanut butter sandwich to go to school anymore. That's how stupid a fucking civilization became, because when one kid is allergic to peanut, you gotta ban the fucking peanut around the world. Well, the last time I remember in history, you know, a black man saved the peanut. He discovered peanuts. It saved his life because he was starving to death. And guarantee you, and people of my age and even a little younger, we all fucking eat peanut butter and jelly sandwich to go to school because it was quick, it's easy. When you go in the bush, it doesn't go bad. There's no mayonnaise in it, right? It doesn't go bad, so you can have a sandwich. It's 3 days old, still eat it, and it's delicious, especially when you're really hungry. So I mean, like, you know, what's wrong with fucking people? It's like those fucking snowflakes, you know, fucking snowflakes. I want you to take this statue out of it. Well, you know what? Half of the people in the United States and North America wouldn't fucking be here if it was not for slaves, those fucker. Oh, slave. No one fucking really get the history. You know who brought slave in North America? Christopher Columbus had 8 slaves, 3 women, right? And 5 men. He owned slave. You know who he bought it from? It's very simple. The Middle East is where the slaves used to come. That's where it come from. They used to go in Africa and capture a whole bunch of people and break them down and then sell them for slaves. That was their trade. That was the biggest money making in the world. in those days. We're talking about 1,000 years ago. All the way up to almost today's, the slavery is still happening in some of those worlds, right? Again, you know, Middle East. You don't see a white boy going up and capturing a bunch of black guy and making slave out of it. Matter of fact, you don't. I mean, it became business. The black said, oh, I can see money. I can buy those slaves and resell it and make a profit. Christopher Columbus. So should we just abandon all that? Right? So if we remove those statues, they should remove all the people or they're related to slave. They should be going back. That would empty it, half of North America. So, but it's just the way the whole situation is. You know, we're living in a world of stupid, of cowardness. People with no balls. I don't care. I can be finding a word all day long because it's no limit of the stupidity we have. So, and that's the reason which you know, my YouTube will be shut down. I'm going to be leaving this video for a while, probably a month, 2 at the most. All the other video will be pulled out of the YouTube. They all be transferred to Vib. So if you want to go to Vib. Yeah, you have no problem to go there. Or if you want to go Earth Energy with Leah, they upload. They're going to upload my video through their channel. For the reason being, I just don't want the headache of the YouTube anymore. So you know, that's simple. That's why, you know, it's they're still working on stuff. So, you know, I told them, I said, you know as much as I do, as I know, you know what's happening, what the principle is. Be my guest, go for it, right? Find some smart people to work on it and stuff like this. I can't go in the States, so I can't go and help them, and I'm not doing that over distance because it doesn't work, you know. So I mean, that's the way it goes. So if you don't hear from me for as long as I'm not gonna go back into YouTube, then it's because I'm going back to work and try to make some money. So got to buy some food and got to put a roof over my head, and have to find a place to put all this crap of mine. So that's the biggest deal. But in the meantime, you guys have a good day, and hopefully, something will come out of it. So you guys have a good one. Bye.